It's Friday. Happy Friday. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all thriving. Hello, America's beautiful children. We love you. And so it is Friday, as I said, and we have Ask the Counselor Fridays with Kishana Christopher. Hello, Kishana.
Hi, how are you guys? Good to see you all. Good to be here.
Thank you. We at National Parents Union appreciate you dedicating your Fridays to share your expertise with all the parents and all caregivers and families across the nation. So thank you. We want to let you know we appreciate you. So what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today's discussion is how to talk about racism with your family, with your children, because current events right now, we can't deny what's happening. We can't necessarily hide it from our children because it's everywhere. It's on every channel, even the children's channels. My little girl was watching something on, I think it was Disney, and she called me in the room and said, "Did you see that commercial, Mom? Oh my gosh, it said Black Lives Matter, and it had all these Black children on there." And I said, "Oh, okay, tell me the next time it comes on." So she did. And I ran in there and I said, "Why does it sound like you're so, excited about it?" She's like, "I don't know, Mom. I think I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that they actually acknowledged us in this way at this moment." And so for me, that was a teachable moment as a parent, because my 10-year-old daughter, she's very cognizant of racial inequalities. She sees things, she's experienced things even at 10. And so, it opens up a discussion for us to have and continue to have. And I just want to share some things and tools that I think parents could benefit from in talking to their children about racism in this moment in time. So if we're still there, I'll just keep going. Because one of the things that I want to address is just that, talking about it. Just talking about it is key and essential. Not being afraid to discuss it. And if you feel as a parent that talking about racism is very uncomfortable for you, then that might be a moment of truth for you, that you might need to, examine what your core beliefs are about racism, and how do you model for your child what that is to you. Last week we talked about passive aggressive behavior and modeling for your children, and just very subtle things and very subtleties in your behavior can speak volumes over your words. So talking about it after you've done some self-examination and self-check if you're uncomfortable, but talking openly about it would be one of the best ways to start the conversation.
And so, yesterday I had Thursdays with Coach, and we were talking about the social emotional development and being able to celebrate differences as a lifelong learner. And, I was saying that when we talk about other cultures and cultural identities, it doesn't take away from our identity, right? It actually adds value to our identity, to understand that there's a whole global view that we can look at, and there's different traditions, different practices, different cultures, very colorful in the world. And so, parents, I agree. The children are seeing it anyway. I saw that Nickelodeon put a statement out. And if you think for any moment that your kids are not seeing this all around and internalizing it some kind of way, then you have mistaken and missed the point. So I definitely agree with what the counselor is saying about having these discussions with your children. And yes, they are watching how you're going to model during this time.
Yes. So I don't know if you shared the link or the screen share really quick about.
I'm going to share that right now.
The parent toolkit that we're going to be discussing. I'm not here right now to teach you how to do it, but I'm here right now to talk about what that may look like or sound like for you. And after this conversation, it would be wonderful if you can, on your own time, go ahead and take a look at this website and review it
Can
in
you
your,
see it?
yes, review it in your
Okay.
personal. So here it is, how to talk to kids about race and racism. And there are several points here that will be helpful to parents understand and know, what the best way is to approach it for children. And as we discussed, the first step is just to talk about it. Number two, we also touched on that, and that would be to set the example. Set the example. How do you, your children are listening to everything you say and do, even if it's with a conversation with someone else on the phone. How do you set an example when you're talking about someone and it may seem negative and you're using their ethnicity in that conversation? What do you think that tells your children? What messages do you think that shows your children? Or say if you're outside and you're out at the store or out at a restaurant, or and then someone of a different ethnicity than yours does something that offends you, or does something that you don't like, or your core beliefs come out and you're actually afraid of someone because of the color of their skin, and it shows in your behavior and it shows in your actions. And if you're the parent that goes ahead and projects that onto your child and says, you know what, let's go over here because I'm afraid that this Black person is going to do something to us, then right there, what you've done is you've set an example to perpetuate racism instead of undo it. And so what you want to do is be careful that you're setting an example that is inclusive of others, and that you're trying to model understanding of all people, kindness for all people, and how to navigate in difficult situations with all people.
I like this under set the example where it said there's a thought, and it says think. Does your network of friends look the same? Ask yourself why. If you're encouraging your children to have a diverse network of friends, but everyone who enters your home looks the same, that will leave an impression on them. And so, I have people that say, well, I'm not racist. I don't discriminate. I have a Black friend, or, my boyfriend's Black or whatever. But I wonder how much color is at the dinner table, right?
Right.
When you're having those holiday celebrations, right? Are you involving other people, individuals that don't look like you, and maybe even asking them to bring a dish to celebrate their differences? So I really appreciate that part of it, of that
Yes,
thought.
I agree. And to go just a step further, whatever you're modeling in your home is also going to be modeled with through your children in their way, in the way they interpret it. And so, for example, as a counselor working at multiple schools, dealing with thousands of children, per year, I've seen and heard a lot. And I know I'll just give one example. A parent came to me distraught. She was a Black mom, and she says, oh my God, I was trying to say hi to a child and be nice and, just brighten up his day. And in return, he told me, I can't talk to you. My grandma said I can't talk to the N-word.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, wow.
setting the example starts in everything you say or don't say to your children, and even the influences surrounding them. So in this case, this young man was not Black, and his grandmother and his family told him not to talk to Black people. And it's just that simple. Something just that simple can live with a person for a lifetime, and they could prepare childhood through adolescence, through adulthood, if it's not corrected. So we want to make sure that as parents, as caregivers, and as grandparents, family members, we're not part of the problem, by projecting our own thoughts and beliefs onto children.
I agree. Actions speak louder than words, and it says it right here. And, you know, having those harmful words come from a child not only impacts the child, it impacts those who are watching, impacted the lady that was told that. And it's just a social ill. I mean, it's just pathological. It reaches out and it touches many, and it's harmful, right?
Yeah. So the next point is your child navigate through their curiosities respectfully. You know, children are curious. They don't know, especially tiny children. I remember working at a school that was predominantly white, and as a counselor walking into a room, and you know what I don't like, and what really is not factual, is to say people don't certain people say they don't see color. And so I walk into a room of like 3 to 4 year olds, and again, it's a predominantly white school. One African American student is in there. I'm walking in as a counselor to meet with some students, and the minute I walked in, they said, "Oh, so and so, your mom's here." And so I just told them, I said, "Guys, I'm not so and so's mother. I'm your school counselor, and I'm here to help you all." And you should have seen the, you know, the shock on their faces, even at that younger age. They know how to connect dots where they think, you know, they're supposed to fit. And because they thought I was the child's mother, because we had similar skin color, I just went ahead and said, "Well, why did you say that? I'm not his mom. I'm your counselor. How can I help you? You know, let's talk about it." So you want to engage your child's curiosity. Ask questions about how did they come to certain conclusions. If you're noticing that they're bringing up things about, you know, skin color, hair texture, the way people talk, differences that humans have, will come up with children, and they might have questions. And it's very important how you answer their questions when they're asking these questions, that you're doing it in a way that's sensitive and inclusive.
Right. And I just, you know, I go back to what you said in the past two topics where it says actually talk about it, set the example. Now we're on navigating their curiosity. And parents, yes, go and look at this, take some time, read it if you have to read it twice. But I'm actually in agreement that if you look at this as very challenging or uncomfortable, like I don't want to do this, this is too much work, then you really are going to have to take some time to challenge your own value system and what it is that you believe that it could be perpetuated on and through your children. And so I would like for you to really take it to heart, go and look at this, actually intentionally put it into practice every day.
Yes, and you know what you're doing if you're choosing to educate yourself on the subject is changing the trajectory of how things have been for too long. And what you're doing is that will help your child grow and open up to the world instead of being closed off, racist in their own little silo bubble, and not willing to be open and inclusive to all people. And so the next topic is make your discussion relatable to your child. You know, children do have core beliefs. They come with beliefs about what's fair, beliefs about what's right, beliefs about what's wrong. You know, they like things that are specific to their interests and gifts. And so when you're using this as a tool for discussion, how you can make it relatable is if, you know, use examples. If your child really does communicate a lot about what's fair or what's not fair to them, then say, "You know what? I understand that you think that this is not fair." And when we're talking about racism, this is an example of how Black people, for example, see things as unfair, because unfair things happen to them a lot and are imposed upon them. And the same unfair feeling that you're feeling right now about this is what they are feeling about that, so that they can make a correlation and a distinction to see, oh, okay, this is how I can also show empathy for other people, because I know I don't like feelings of unfairness. I know I don't like when things are unjust. And so if I could express that same feeling for the next person who's not like me, then I'm showing that I can show empathy for someone else. And that's how you help to make things relatable to your child and open up their worldview.
You know, I have people that have tried to talk about some racist practices, justifiably so, things that were actually, in fact, discriminatory. And they were told that, oh, you're being divisive. And I've actually heard that too. Like, oh, when people talk about this is racist or this is discriminatory, that's just creating a bigger division, and you're being divisive. Like, what would you say to those people? And how can people respond to that argument?
Again, I would really encourage people that have that mindset to grow, to expand, to have a growth mindset, because a growth mindset really speaks to the fact that, yes, you may feel uncomfortable about this thing, but check your own uncomfortability. And why do you feel it's a bad thing? Look at all sides of the story here. See things in a more like a bird's eye view. Just take yourself out of the situation and imagine all these scenarios. How would you feel if this was you?
Right.
So it's forcing some of that empathy there. And if, you know, they're not in the headspace to actually go there, then a lot of work needs to be done internally regarding their core beliefs.
Agreed. Good word there.
So I'll go to the next one. It says address mistakes. Addressing mistakes. How do you handle a mistake if you made one? So for example, if you know that you modeled poorly for your child in regards to race relations, what you can do is, if you can't go back directly to that person and make it right in front of your child, just like if you created a terrible situation with a person, and you show them that you can self-correct and you can show how you handled conflict in a more appropriate way, then, you know, talk to your child right then and there and say, look, you know what? I messed up. As a parent, as a person, I should not have said that to that person. I should not have done that to that person, or I should not have said that to you about that person. That is not right. I really some self-check, maybe take my own personal time out or time away so that I can think about what I should do to fix this or how I can fix this. But I want you to know, son, daughter, I was wrong when I did that, and I don't want you to ever do that.
You know, and in the area of addressing mistakes, I have to say that it took me some time to just simply say, I'm sorry, without the I'm sorry, but I need to explain, right? Because when you say I'm sorry, but it's almost like you're justifying why you offended someone. And so simply learning to say, I apologize. I'm sorry I offended you. Definitely, you know, something that we need to be intentional about, instead of saying, I'm sorry, but if, or, you know, no, we just need to simply say, I'm sorry I offended you.
Correct. And, you know, things like that show extreme courage. They show extreme growth. They show extreme maturity. And that's what you want modeled for your parents, the ability to be mature in a moment of conflict, in a moment of confusion, in a moment of where you were wrong and you needed to fix something. When what you modeled there in that situation will speak volumes to your child and give them, you know, more information that they're feeding off of what's the most appropriate way to handle it if you did something wrong and you need to address a mistake.
Correct.
So the next topic is be an advocate. Be an advocate for means, you know, speaking up for the rights of others. If you see something wrong, speaking up about it, addressing it, not saying, oh no, we don't see that, or oh no, it doesn't affect us, so we're not gonna even put any time and energy in it. Oh no, well, that's not us, so we're not gonna worry about it. Oh no, well, I'm just gonna check out because I don't understand it. It's too confusing. It's too crazy. It you know, it makes my head hurt. I don't want to know, you know, or I just want to remain ignorant. No, those are all poor modeling for being an advocate. You want to show your child that you respect all people. You respect all people and you respect human rights. And so when you respect all people and you respect human rights, you're opening your mindset up to, if I have a certain privilege, then so should everybody else. Or if I have a certain human right that never gets infringed upon, then so should everybody else. And that's how you use your position to advocate for others and show your children, look, son or daughter, I know that we don't have to go through or endure what that group of people has to go through and endure, but we're not going to turn a blind eye to it and act like it doesn't exist. We're not going to say, oh, well, that's just them and let them suffer. We're not going to say, oh, no, we don't even get close to that. What we're going to do is we're going to use our own strengths and abilities and gifts and talents to say, no, this is wrong. Everybody should have an opportunity to have equal human rights. There's enough in this world, you know, for everybody, and everybody deserves their own.
And it, you know, basically, if we came from the perspective that everyone is valuable, we don't all have to be the same. That's a good thing, right? Everyone has a unique set of gifts, talents, and abilities that we can share with one another and admire. And we don't have to be like the person that's sitting in the room, but that doesn't mean that we have to hate them because they're not like us, right? You know, so there's only one you. I have to say this. There's only one you. There's nobody else that's ever going to be like you or whatever was you. You're the only you. Your children are the only them. They're uniquely created, special with their own set of gifts, talents, and abilities. And we have to learn how to celebrate and accept that in other people as well. And right here, it says on Be an Advocate, if you don't intervene or say something in the moment, that will signal to your child that you're okay with that type of language or behavior. I would like to also add that it signals to people watching. So if the child is in a setting with other kids and there's something said to that child and nobody intervenes and says, you know, that was not okay, then now all the other children and the person that was offended get the idea that this is acceptable, and it's really not. And so we have to start catching these things, be intentional about it, watching language and behavior that we use, being uncomfortable with challenging our own biases, and then modeling that for our children. This parent toolkit can be found. Right here is the link. I will also go back and embed it into the Zoom, live show. You can go back and check this out. Take some time. Look through every single portion of this, actually talk about it, set the example, navigate their curiosity, make it relatable, address mistakes, be an advocate, and just start putting these values to practice. You know, that's my advice.
Yes, and again, we encourage you to review this as many times needed. There's other sources on this website that they give that you can also explore. Learn as much as you can so that you're equipped with the tools to help your children to have the tools, to help their children to have the tools. And that's what it's really about, affecting change generationally. We don't want to continue to perpetuate what's been happening. And we want the generations to come to have a growth mindset, to know, you know, we are human beings and we all deserve to be treated equally and fairly. And doing this now, you're sowing these seeds to last lifetimes. And hopefully what we're doing is going to make the world a better place for our.
Right. And so what I have to say as my final word, thank you so much again, Kishana, for sharing your wisdom, your expertise, and your time. We appreciate your time on Fridays. But what I would like to say, just go ahead and look at that, but understand that racism and discrimination costs us all more than what you think, right? There is a social ill that takes place. There is an economic impact that is very costly from it. And so if you don't think that it's costly, I need you to count the cost. And we hope that you just move forward and progress. We want to see that progress and change generationally. Every generation should do better than the last. We have this great opportunity right here before us in this historical time, 2020, right now, to make a difference. Thank you all for watching. You have been watching Managing Day to Day with me, Christina Laster, and National Parents Union. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all thriving. Goodbye, America's beautiful children. We love you, and we will see you again next week. Same place, National Parents Union live on Facebook. Same time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye-bye.